singing a little Broadway. Hello everyone. This Hello everyone. I'm Cheyenne Downing. I am the director of this film called Box, and I just thought you guys, since we have 5,000 views, I thought we should get a commentary. So here it is. Here are my thoughts and everything. We have a long way to go. No edits, no cuts. So starting at the beginning of this film, this whole opening scene. It was to let you guys know what happened. My friend made the white parts that you see floating across the news articles. We actually tried to print out the news articles and have them in the house. Also, spoiler alert. We tried to have them in the house. When I went to print them out, they were like 4 times. They were like the size of like half a wall, like a fourth of a wall. They were too big, and it didn't make any sense. So that was a big thing, but I still wanted to use them. And at first I didn't want an opening scene, but everybody was like, we need one. The people at watched it on, they're like, we need an opening scene, because we don't understand what's going on without it. And I was like, okay. And eventually I liked it and it worked. This part where she's screaming, originally I didn't want any sound. It was supposed to be a bunch of close-ups and building up to something. The sound effect on the box is funny to me too, because it sounds like a western. I don't know, but she wasn't supposed to. She screamed and I really liked it. Like, we were in the woods and I noticed, and I was like, let's turn the sound on for that. I don't like wide shots. We have a few wide shots for this film. Also, the honey, getting the honey to come down was so funny. We tried like 5 times and it was raining when we got that shot. This was like the first shot we ever did for the first day. We shot this in 5 days. That's also another thing. 5 days, 12-hour days, an hour, like 40 minutes for lunch. It was intense because trying to get 40 minutes, and if you've been on a film set, you know how long it is. This is when they kick over the box. There's other stuff inside there. I feel like we could hint at that later on. If there's a second one, there's like birth certificates, and then she's like, it's a Godson. Their relationship is, I don't know, I really like it. The beginning was supposed to show off who they were. Not just who they were, but like show off the dynamic they already have, the push and pull between the two of them, which is obvious. But it's supposed to show like how it started kind of for the boys as well, and how it could get worse. And she kind of notices how aggressive she's starting to be. And she doesn't want to be aggressive. I know some people are watching this like, she's a hypocrite. I'm like, she apologized. She's not a hypocrite. But kind of, slightly, throughout the whole thing. I wish I had a bigger moment for them at the end where she kind of, like an ending where you kind of see the girls learn from the boys and kind of realize they're about to go down that path. This is a night scene. Okay, so this wasn't originally supposed to be black and white. This was supposed to have color, and a lot of people were like, oh, this is confusing. Like, people I know that have watched it, they're like, I got confused if this was like a flashback or if it was the future. Originally, I didn't want the black parts in there, and I kind of just made it black and white right before I posted it, because the fight scene in here is black and white. But that was for a specific reason. It was also like a transformation of Russell's character, like showing that he's just lost it all and he's become just like the bandits. But some people said it would feel like it came out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, every time the bandits show up, it's like black and white to show danger, and we're going into this world of mysterious and scariness. We literally shot this in such a small area. It was like a tree and the ground. And then the shaking, the excessive stabbing, I understand. I wanted them to seem brutal though, like to really understand how brutal they were. The house. Okay, so this is my old apartment. We got some cabin wallpaper, peel and stick wallpaper, put it on the walls. Destroyed the floor. I got some, went to Goodwill, got some blankets and pillows, cut those up. And honestly, it should have, oh my gosh, that panning shot makes me so mad because we should have just used a tripod, but I was trying to be, I was like, no, we need like a push and pull effect, so let's use a monopod. And it was shaky. Oh my god, it's shaky. I know. It hurts me. Because I wanted to retake it, but we didn't have time because there's also a scene that is supposed to happen in between there. There's a bathroom scene where she's kind of contemplating the day, but we felt like it wasn't actually working because it's weird that they were outside and they do have a house instead of just seeing them on the floor. Like, they were going to be in the bathtub washing with like a rag. The whole bathroom was dirty, but it just, you know, it didn't work for the edit in my eyes, so we took it out, which would have, you know, it was originally 40 minutes. The ones for the festivals is 40 minutes right now. It's 38 minutes. Oh, this is the introduction to Sprout and Zach. Okay, so it's really interesting here because we had this walk and talk shot for them, for the girls and for the guys, and we ended up cutting them both because, not just because they were really shaky, but they weren't really that shaky. Sorry, I'm looking at the. Shut the fuck up. When he. Let me tell you something about this actor, Zach. That's his real name. We got to like the last. It was not this much cussing in the movie. But then we got to the last take. And every time I'd be like, this is your last one. Give it all you got. He would throw so many F-bombs in there. But when I got to the editing room, I was like, I kind of like it. Let's keep it. The slow motion walk, the sunlight. I really like that shot where the sun is just right in the corner. It's like a what is it called when like a light passes the, you know what I mean. We planned this shot was just shot reverse shot for the most part, and I didn't like that but we were running out of time. Like I said, we had 5 days and we had to get what we wanted, like what we could get, but the sun was coming down, and we didn't really. We planned for some nighttime shots this day, but we didn't plan for like the in between. We had a Titan tube, not really a lot of stuff, just like a Titan tube, 1 or 2 maybe, and a reflector during this scene. And we were just like, we don't have time for nights. We can try to fake it. That's why I'm not a great color grader. I color graded this as well. And though their skin, Russell and Sprout, their skin is kind of red, which kind of bothers me. But, you know, it's okay. Especially this shot. You see a lot of red on their bodies. And I'm like, they just look angry. Let's just sell that. Burnt in subtitles. That's also a thing. I didn't originally plan for that. But I did. I liked it. Because everybody has subtitles nowadays. Also, I think it's like this aesthetic feeling that you get when you get like subtitles, especially like, you know, like the yellow subtitles in the old like Chinese movies and stuff. I don't know, that makes the movie just seem like it's high budget to me. Oh my gosh, the blood on her arm, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the blood and certain scenes in here. There was supposed to be like scars and all this stuff. Russell's hair was supposed to be black. I do like that transition. Somebody said they don't like that transition because it's the only time it happens in the entire movie. They're like, why isn't? But, you know, they use wipes in movies. So, oh my god, this scene. I'm going back and forth, but just to explain this scene, when he's like, no, I'm able to move my wrist in any direction. Oh my gosh, we had to push everybody back like 4 or 5 times to get this scene because I didn't realize the dialogue was so long, and everyone was like holding wires and holding the other person, trying to guide people, the branches, like the sound mixer. I give him so many props for being able to clean up all the branches and the noise just to be able to. It might be a little like not his work, but just us. But it was a little, you know, crunchy. And he did his best, and he really saved it. But back to the blood. The blood thing is we were supposed to have a makeup artist. And I thought we were on the same page. And we were not. And I only figured out a day before the shoot. She's a great person. She works at Universal and all these other stuff, Hollywood Horror Nights. She does great stuff. would definitely work with her when I have more money, because we only had a budget of $2,000, 2,000 give or take, 2,500 ish, really, and then the rest was just my money that I put into it. But another black and white scene. Yeah, his hair. I have ADHD. Zach or Russell in the background. His hair is supposed to be dyed black, so he gave like that grungy look. But we ended up going with his natural look, and he's supposed to have his hair up in some scenes. But we kind of just ended up liking what we got. You know, how his natural look. But yeah, we were supposed to have all these bloody wounds and gashes, and I know how to do a little bit, but I didn't know how to do a lot of it, so we kind of ended up just pouring fake blood on the body and was like, listen, everyone understands this budget is low, okay? So she got injured. The extras were great. They were fun to work with. I wish I did more with them. I was like, oh, we only need them for this, and afterwards I was like, dang, it'd be great. If you can't tell by already, I love close-ups, so there's a lot of close-ups. And low angles. Low angles are so like, I don't know, obviously power and like weakling type of things, but just the I don't know, it feels so dangerous. But I don't like how they did it in the new Hunger Games movie that came out. It was all low angles, and it feels like you should use them not sparingly, but like in intense moments, not the whole movie. We do have a calmer take of Russell, as you guys know him, saying fine. We have a calmer take of that. But I liked his aggressive, like he's kind of like, oh my gosh, it gives him a little personality. I don't know. Him being so calm, they're like, fine, whatever. Fine, sure. It's too, it's not enough for me. Oh God, the crumbs and the natural, yeah, no, the plants. Yeah, I definitely did research. That was like the best. We actually took a couple frames out of this shot, the blood on the arm, to make it look more grotesque. But then when you see the wide shot, you don't see all that stuff on it because we did the insert afterwards. And I really shouldn't have done that because oh, maybe it's me. Maybe it's Maybelline. How my headphones are hurting. It just, it would have looked more realistic, and, you know, it would have matched a bit better for me, but it's still, you know, what we had was good. Zach in the background was funny to me. I wanted him to walk around kicking stuff, but, there are certain takes where he was just doing some extra stuff. It was funny. Like, even in this shot, I don't know, I should have, like, told him an exact action to do every time, but I just told him to do different things. But, like, because in the other shot, you see him in the back, in the middle, and then now he's at the tree. But, you know, that's just a, you know, a me thing. I really like the scene. It was a lot of running, like, really quick. We got to do this. So when we had calm scenes like this one and the one at the tree when they just talk, it was, I was grateful. Because, yeah, running around as we were in this field, one of my crew members, he likes to hike a lot, and he found this place, and they were really nice about letting us use it. I sent in the paperwork, I emailed them and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we'll warn the neighborhood that you have weapons, and we'll warn the police and let them know. And I was like, great, they did all that for me, so that saved me a lot of time, as I was also the producer for this movie. So making sure safety was number one. But these close-ups, ooh, yes, girl. I was worried with Kelly, who you guys know as dang, what's her name in the script? Kelly, not Kelly, Maraschino. Her in the script, I was worried about her braids for a second because I'm like, this is the end of the world. Why do they have like clean cut shaba braids? Also, we didn't have a makeup artist or hair artist, so except for my AD, everybody had multiple roles. We only had like 14, 15 people for crew. Really like 10, 11, honestly. And some people just came and swapped it on different days. Because everyone was working on top of doing this. A lot of people quit their jobs, so to be honest, a lot of people quit their jobs to help me make this movie, which I'm so grateful for. And I was so stressed out because everyone is my friend on this side, and it's like, if this wasn't good and you quit your job for it, yeah. And then it's like, you'll never work in this town again. Like, it's probably not true, but like, if I quit my job and you don't even finish the project, or it doesn't come out looking presentably, for it's gonna take a lot for people to want to work with me again, and donate. Because we did a fundraiser and we reached the goal. It was amazing. I literally a week before we started shooting, like a week, and I was already buying stuff with the money. So I was like, we don't have the money. I think we were like $300 maybe like $250 behind. Before we, ow, my ear. We were about 200 behind before let me mention something about that scene. We do have a version of Kelly, Risa, who you know is, what is her name? Not Risa, but her character name, the sister in red. I'll figure it out later. We had a scene of her being very serious. But I was like, oh, I want this to be comedic. I didn't realize later. I put parts, so I mixed both in, the serious and the comedic. But I realized I needed to be more serious because he needs to believe it and not seem like an idiot. You know, Elda Petty. That was just like, yeah. But she was a great actor. They all were. They all gave their best in the hot, sweltering August. Was it August? It was like August in Orlando, Florida. It was hot. It was hot. The fourth day was probably our hardest day. It was like a transition from an overnight. Oh, the close-ups. Okay, so I kind of put this here, and some people are like, why do you have the close-ups of him in this scene? It's supposed to be like sexual or something. I mean, in my mind. But for the story, it's kind of just showing he's just a guy. I don't know. It kind of, I feel like it elaborates just like the dirt on his skin, the kindness of kind, you know. He didn't have to. They could have told her to just do it herself. But her kind of looking at his body and just, this is uncomfortable for her. So I feel like when you see it, it feels uncomfortable. But it's also giving a layer of like getting to look at a person. I love this. This scene was written at the last minute. It wasn't actually going to be in the script before I finished it. But I was like, a villain, this is the only part where we really get to understand him as a person, where the villain gets to speak for himself. Not even a villain, but just the person gets to speak for himself and what he's really looking for, like what he's trying to do, trying to help everyone, honestly. Which brings another layer to his character that we needed. Like, I didn't want just like a one-dimensional character. Yeah, we have the ending, and the ending, he was supposed to be angry and aggressive. I know with the dialogue, but we did one take where he's aggressive, and I said one take, kind of do what you want to do with it. And his version was amazing. I really, really, really liked the teary-eyed kind of, not somber, just being felt it. Now this scene, oh god, okay. I wanted so much more for this scene. This was our last day of shooting, and it was intense because we had filmed the final argument this day. This was supposed to have 15 shots. We ended up only being able to get like 4, 5. Yeah, and then it was like kind of raining, not raining, raining on and off. That's why his like shoulder is so shiny. You'd think it's sweat, but it was just raining, but it worked out for us. But yeah, this was supposed to be like running, and then he does leave his brother behind, but then he goes back. Then the wolf is going after him, and the sisters save him. Both of them save him and walk into the woods. It was supposed to be a whole thing. They just supposed to jump into the bushes, and there was like a lot more to this part in the script. It was all action lines, and I knew how I wanted to do it, but not exactly with what was going on. I was like, I'm not sure. Oh, the leg break. We shot a good amount of those leg breaks, and running scenes, and the wolf, and which was my dog. It's a husky, clearly. I should have went more with the fact that it was a joke. Like, it wasn't meant to be. It was supposed to be scary, but all I had was a husky, and it looks like a dog, and she's so sweet, and she was all like licking stuff. We didn't have treats when we went back on the trail, and so honestly, I should have just tried to go with a more playful look. And I was like, if I do close-ups, it'll sell as a wolf, kinda. When I had the original for this, when I showed it in theaters, like they seen the original to the movie, there was no dog in there, and a lot of people were like, well, cut the whole scene because it was kind of pointless and blah blah, and I thought you were building up to something, like a frog, or like they were running and it wasn't anything dangerous. It was just like a cat or something. And I should have strongly went that way, so I feel like this is like an in-between, but you know. Oh, he pushed her. I really like this. They had to be really close for this scene and for this shot. I love close-ups, but also close-ups and having their face that close. It was like, oh, snap. Also, this scene is one of my favorites. Not scene, but the shot where Russell is looking down. He's like, get the fuck up. Oh, that is so clean. It's like my favorite because it's so aggressive in just the right way, and I wasn't expecting it. As a director, I was like, we need to go with this, you know what I mean? And the sweat on his hair was really sweat. Like, usually we use Vaseline to give it that sweaty look, but bruh, saying now into his mouth, crazy. The actor for Sprout was crazy because he like he worked with me. He was my assistant manager, and I was like, I'm making a movie. And he auditioned, he did all the stuff, and I was like, I'm not sure, because I feel like you might back out. He's like, I'm not going to back out. And we talked about it for a couple months. I did the auditions for everybody, and he was great. This is his first time acting, if you guys didn't know. He's never acted before. So to get this type of performance, everybody else has been to some type of film school, acting school, some type of theater, plays. He's never done anything, so... I also wanted to change the dynamic that people are like, oh, he's going to play the bad guy. And I don't like the thought that just because he has tattoos means he's a bad guy. He's actually the sweetest person you'll ever talk to. He was always like the most excited and hype on the set. And he was like, hey guys, we can do this. Like, you know, like High School Musical. But he was the sweetest guy. So I was like, you know, I want to change the dynamic. Like, just because he has the tattoos, that's just, you know, a cover-up of pain and sorrow. And if you met him, he'll tell you his whole life story. It's kind of definitely like that. But yeah, he's a nice guy. And so I wanted to change the dynamic a little bit. I also chose black and white people because I know there are certain dynamics, and people watching this, I know immediately in their head, even if they didn't want to, I'm gonna be like, they're kind of racist. They're attacking them because they're black. And I want people to kind of have that mindset, even though that's not the case. You know what I mean? Because your assumptions are gonna lead you into a different, you know, a plot twist without a plot twist. You know, it's gonna lead you to a different direction. Oh, the can. The can of honey. Ew. I don't know. Just a. That was honey. In a bottle that we had to clean out. There was bugs in that before we used it because we were there so late and we forgot to. We put the thing back in the book bag. Put the book bag back in the car. We were keeping all the stuff, and every day we would forget, and it was just full of bugs, like, on the second day. I think this is when we shot this, the second day. There, when she pulls up the thing, I know we all wanted to see a bruise. I tried to do makeup. It was so bad. It was so bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was like you wanted to see, like, a gangy, like, a bone sticking out or something like that, or, like, a... Yeah, and I wanted to give that. But some people said that was confusing. Because it's like, it looked like he broke his leg. But you guys said he sprained it. I'm like, y'all should change the sound effect. At least that's what my mom said. She's very honest with me. I love me some foreground elements. I love the wide shot here. This is probably the only wide shot I like in the entire movie because I don't like wide shots a lot of times. Oh, this conversation between them two was probably the best scene in the movie. Like, acting wise, for her, it was the best. Acting wise, for him, it was really gentle. I don't know. It was really done well. This, honestly, I color graded all this. This scene was. There's a like behind the tree, and it's going towards their back. Obviously, you can see, but I had to bring that down a lot because it was like peaking. It was peaking, if you know what I mean. It was bright, so I had to bring that down. I hope it felt natural. It felt natural to me, but honestly, the color was orange. For this, I think I don't. We had brought a light out here. We brought two lights, and the light I had brought, we set everything up, and as soon as we started shooting, the light died. And we plugged it back in, and it wouldn't like work with while it was charging. So we had to do a whole different set of lights, swap them out, and then change all the colors to like orange because that's what one color was. So we had to match. Orange is like 3400 Kelvin or whatever. We had to change that to match all of them so that when I edit it in post, I can change all of them to look like nighttime instead of orange, which is pretty cool.
Just because my brother doesn't cuddle me all the time doesn't mean he doesn't
Ooh.
give a shit. He's just doing what is best for me.
I feel like in this scene we could have given a little bit more, but it's still really, really good. Everything felt really natural, and the biggest thing people have been telling me is that all the characters feel like their own person. They don't sound like they're all the same person, even though they've been written all by moi, you know? So there's that. We spent a lot of time on the scene, more time than I thought we would, and that's because we had to change the lights. Also setting up at night. This was our overnight, so we had to shoot at night, and I think we started at like 2. I think we started at 2 a.m. and we ended at 2 p.m. or 3 a.m. and 3. I think it was like 1 or 2 a.m. we started, but it was 12 hours, so 1 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon. This day was the day people were falling asleep and just trying to stay awake and was not getting it together, and there was a lot of that. Give me the bags. That's my friend Coco. He's the stunt coordinator. He helped us out a lot with this. We decided to choose him because I was gonna have an extra. It was gonna be one of the other cast members' brothers. But we ended up switching with that to somebody else, to him, because he had to work or something. So we were like, all right, well, we taught him some stuff. No, we didn't teach him anything, but we taught everybody else. So we said, why not just be you? This scene was in black and white. It's the only scene that was actually supposed to be in black and white, but because if you see the sky is kind of white in the black and white during the fight, because it started becoming sometime. I think the sun started to rise. We shot that at like 5:30, and we didn't realize. We were like, let's just do a one shot. It was supposed to be multiple, cuts and stuff. We were like, let's just do a one take. And do some inserts and like on little things and get what we can and point the camera at the ground as much as we can. And then our monitor wasn't working. Oh my gosh. It was a struggle because I think our first AC was on, what was it? He was at work or something. So he came back the next day. But we missed him a lot. We were like, bro, where were you? Because the wire was acting stupid. Him getting delusional, this is like his point of no return, kind of. That's why it was supposed to be black and white. Like, he's not coming back from this. Ooh, that's stab. Stunt coordinator did his thing here. The wraparound. It was cute. This black and white wasn't actually supposed to happen. This kind of dream state where he was like, he would do anything to help me. I added it in because we didn't really have the shots we needed to connect these two scenes together. So I kind of started using bits and pieces of other shots, and I actually used a shot and reversed it so that it was like when he was laying on the ground, I used a shot and reversed it for him falling down to getting up, because we didn't have what we needed to actually make it make sense. This was shot on the last day. That shot of her running, turning around, and we see him, I do not know why. That took so long to shoot. Like, we spent an hour and a half or something, like 2 hours, and like all of our shots have been really quick. Like, we're shooting with a DSLR, not running gun, but we've been guerrilla shooting. Not guerrilla shooting, we had a storyboard, but we were planned and really, really on point with all of our shots. We're doing like 30, 35 shots a day. I want to say, yeah, around that much. And usually, like, a normal shoot day, you do like 18 shots or less a day. So we were like very on point with all our stuff. But this shot, I don't know why it was taking so long, and it was frustrating for me because it was also our last day. Everybody was like, "We're done, we're done." We filmed the scene before this. This was after lunch, and everybody gets comfortable. But everyone was kikiing, and if you don't know, kiki mean like having fun, playing with people, talking. And I was like, guys, I love you, but we still have another scene to shoot after this, which was the scene I cut out of the movie because we did there was an ending to this movie. They were supposed to walk off into the sunset, yada yada yada. Most of my movies kind of have dark endings, honestly, but I didn't walk into the sunset for my first film, like completed 20-minute film, which I don't like having that ending every time. But there was supposed to be like a revelation of what was happening. Oh, I love the shot, the close-up of his face, the close-up of his eyes. I wish, it's so good. It's like, and the close-up of all their close-ups, but that intense, extreme close-up was so good, low angle. I had to fight for it too. I was like, we need to go lower, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, no, guys, just let me go lower, just go lower, and we got it. But yeah, we were playing around a little bit during this scene. Mistakes are a part of life. I kind of wish. We also didn't get the shot of her. She's supposed to be far away when she was like, get away from her. But we never got the shot. Pay attention. We could have been a little bit more paying attention to detail. So I had to use the other cover. And she's like, get away from her. But she wasn't in frame, and she didn't think her voice was gonna be recorded, so she didn't give the full. Oh my gosh, we lost the knife. So I wanted to retake the shot and get a close-up of that knife, but actually that's a push in on a 1080 footage. So I was surprised it wasn't blurry, that close-up of the knife, but it really worked for this, so I was happy. He got a standing ovation by the crew. Everyone was kind of getting clapping and stuff for their performance, so that was the only time he got a standing ovation for his performance. Sprout. Yeah, Duncan, that's his actual name. And then there's Risa, the girl with the red shirt. I just walked in. And then there's Kelly, if you want to know their real names. But this shot we saw on the first day. I noticed, like, I was trying to go for a cabin, but this wall that he's leaning on, you can see this is just not a cabin. But I don't know how many of you guys really noticed that. So that's all good. I used the actual sound. We had cleaned the sound, but we didn't really do much Foley for this, so I used the actual sound from the camera for this. Yeah, this shit was shot on the first day at night, and then the other, well, obviously at night, but I think this was the last thing no, was it the last? No, second to last. We shot the bathtub scene that we didn't use. This scene is my favorite. It's so cute. This was the first shot we ever shot for the movie at all, like in general. And Duncan, this was his first time. He was super nervous, and we took a couple takes, and I was like, listen, Duncan is Sprout, the younger brother, and he was so nervous when he first did. I had to like talk to him for a second. I was like, I need you to just calm down. Like, I know you have this. Take a second and just relax. Also, the funniest thing, where he was like, when I'm in the gym, I'm gonna be giving you knuckles. And that was so hard for him to get. He was like, I don't do that. I don't know how to act. I'm like, you never had like he doesn't have any siblings, but it's not. I don't know. It's a weird younger sibling thing. But he, like, punching the shoulder was, like, okay. But he was, like, fighting the air, and his knuckles and elbows was crooked. It was just so funny to me. I was like, we had to practice that a couple times, which was really funny. I was like, this is what we have to practice? I was like, it's just not natural. Like, I'm not getting it. Zach, I really like this performance from him. Russell. The older brother, you just get emotional a little bit here, because it's like, he is trying. You can see in the scene, without the scene, we really don't have, like, a movie, I feel like, because it's like to understand that he is a good guy. The world really changed him. It's not just words. We have an actual representation that they used to be close. And a lot of people, they said if I did a part two, what they really want to know is like what happened to him. Like I want to see the transition of him turning into this evil guy, because they seemed really close, and there's all this stuff, and I want more of their story. Honestly, the film, I didn't realize, I mostly, when I write films, I write male characters. I don't really write female characters, even though I'm a female, because when I write, I see myself as a guy, but like not like I'm a man, but my voice comes out better from through a guy. I don't know, it's weird. So the guys ended up kind of taking over the whole movie, but at the same time, I can't cut out the beginning of the movie with the girls, because they're also important. They kind of push the story along, but they are important. If I had that ending that you guys would have saw, you would have been like, oh, okay. But I had to cut it because it was, the color grading's awful. It was too dark. It was grainy because we didn't have enough light. We didn't bring any lights. We brought like one Titan tube that day because we didn't think we were going to be shooting that late. And I was like, yeah, guys, we have to rush and get over it. It was this beautiful like landscape, leading lines to like these telephone wire poles. It was so pretty. I think if you've seen my like promotion for my GoFundMe, it was that area. It's like the first shot. And oh, that's the end of the movie. His tears were so good here. This was the second thing we shot after the car scene. So it was really nice. Box. We now have the ending of the movie. The music, I don't like to use AI, but there's a thing called Sony AI. My boyfriend at the time wrote the lyrics for the song, and he put it in there, this Sony AI thing. And like I said, we had $2,000 to film this, so we didn't have a budget to like hire people to make music and people to do this, and you know, so I kind of used just royalty free music from YouTube and kind of just, you know, put it together. And I really, at first it was actually, when I had the premiere, the song was very ba 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 ba, like big, and like party like, and it had bloopers, and I was like, no, let's take all that stuff out, simplify. And one other big thing at this movie, if you're still listening, is that this film is the representation of me and my older brother. Sprout is really me, and like Russell is my older brother. We've really had like a toxic relationship, honestly, our whole life. We're good now, like we're cool, but it was difficult, and I feel like it's shown in here that I know that they did it out of love and tried to, you know, mold to help people. But yeah, that's what the movie's kind of about. If you want to know more, you know, comment below. That's our crew. And thank you, Christian Rodriguez. He's from Full Sail, one of my professors. He helped me, lend me some equipment because, like I said, we had no budget. And my aunt passed away while I was making this movie, so I had to give this. She was my motivator, so I shout out to her. Bye.